Ladies and gentlemen, this is probably the best news you're going to hear all day, and it's so amazing and awesome and hilarious. Politico Playbook, January 2nd, 2020. Why holding the impeachment articles might not matter. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell can actually conduct an impeachment trial, even if Pelosi never sends the articles, should he choose, many people in the Capitol and legal community believe. Congress returns next week. So, I think the best... the best thing that you've ever heard in your life is Mitch McConnell deciding to do this after media is like, they're like, oh, what a tactical genius Pelosi is. Could you imagine how mortified they'd be if McConnell's like, oh, Nancy, guess what? I got a New Year's surprise for you. You tried to pull the full court press on me, Nancy, but little did you know I was recruited by the Kentucky Wildcats. I was a dangerous shooting guard, and they used to call me the babyface assassin because of my good looks and my ability to shoot the 20-foot jumper. Nancy, you know better than to have Nadler try to full court press me. The only thing he could full court press is maybe a Twinkie bar. Otherwise, you're looking at Pistol Pete Maravich's cousin. Mitchell McConnell is known in Kentucky for his skills at evading the full court press. And you thought that you could go ahead and hold on to the articles of impeachment. Little did you know you're dealing with, what's that guy, Naismith? He invented the game for people like me. The babyface assassin from Kentucky. We're going to start the impeachment trial, and we're going to acquit President Trump, and then you could impeach him again and not give us the articles, and we'll, once again, we'll go ahead and exonerate and acquit President Trump. So, you snooze, you lose. Mess with the bull, you get the horns. Try to get into the octagon, Pelosi. You got khabibed. Mitch McConnell out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the best thing. And now you have like all this subsidiary. So Politico, this is just, this is the best thing that you've ever heard in your life. So Politico is actually it's a good publication. Still part of the establishment, but good publication. And why holding the impeachment articles might not matter. This is what people are talking about today. And the hilarious thing is that it's making its rounds across liberal media. So Raw Story. Mitch McConnell may conduct Trump's Senate trial without articles of impeachment reports. So Raw Story wrote a hit piece on me when I was a Bernie supporter and then, of course, Trump supporter. So they go after everyone on what they view as too extreme on either side of the pendulum. But you're looking at other publications also bringing this up. Look, the Constitution doesn't exactly explain how a Senate trial must be conducted, but it gives the Senate Majority Leader, the political party that controls the Senate gets to run the show, and Democrats do not. in the midterms, they actually lost ground in the Senate. So Mitch McConnell kept the Senate, thank God. Yeah, they actually gained a couple seats. And now the ploy was, well, we don't have any direct evidence that Trump ordered or withheld military assistance from Ukraine. We don't have any direct evidence, but what we'll do is, this is Pelosi speaking, what we'll do is we'll keep the articles of impeachment, and brilliant journalist Kimberly Strassel at the Wall Street Journal said it would be like a rolling impeachment, where you would just have the specter, the clouds of just never-ending impeachment above President Trump, the rain clouds, the storm clouds of never-ending impeachment. And so that would allow, theoretically, Democrats to impeach him again and investigate based on the second impeachment, and maybe add a little Mueller probe in there, even though the evidence was not sufficient to do anything regarding to indict anyone regarding collusion, because it never happened, and it was all based on a dossier purchased by Clinton. The whole thing was nonsense. But you're looking at a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where this is just absolutely hilarious. How do I explain this? Democrats cheated Bernie Sanders. Now Bernie Sanders is raking in money, not as much as President Trump. He raised like 40 plus million from this impeachment. He has well over 100 million. He's on his way to $1 billion, or $2 billion actually, eventually. But they cheated Bernie Sanders. That was a failure. Didn't work out. Okay. They demanded that everyone fall in line. Most liberals and progressives did, actually, unfortunately. That enabled and bolstered the mentality that they can do anything, get away with anything, and people will still fall in line. Okay, they lost the election with Clinton, like I said. NPR quoted me. It's below in the pinned comment. They then engaged in the Mueller probe from Comey's memos that are completely made up, almost certainly. And there was no way to verify Comey's memos. There was no way to verify the Steele dossier. There's no way to verify what Mifsud allegedly told Papadopoulos, and there's no way to verify what Alexander Downer knew before he claimed he found out from Papadopoulos that the DNC was going to be hacked before it was hacked. Papadopoulos and Mifsud both say they never told anyone anything because they never knew anything about DNC hack. So one must ask, well, what did the Australian ambassador know? Anyway, they failed at that. The evidence was not sufficient to indict anyone on campaign finance or being a foreign agent or anything to do with collusion with Russia. They're paving the way for Clinton. Okay, Clinton is just recently became like this ceremonial figure at a university in Northern Ireland. But anyway, she's always getting these awards and honors. She stated numerous times she's thinking about running. She hasn't closed the door. Philippe Reigns is on Fox News saying, yeah, well, people don't. If people don't want to vote for her, they don't have to if she runs. Meaning, you have your choice of Biden, who literally tries to implicate President Obama, and I explained that in my last segment. Who told Biden to fire that prosecutor, and who allowed Biden to just go to a foreign country, force them to fire a prosecutor, and have the conflict of interest that the prosecutor was actually investigating the corporation funneling millions to his son. So who allowed this conflict of interest to take place? Impeachment actually harms Biden a lot more than it does Trump. Trump is fundraising from this. Biden isn't. Okay, so Clinton gets two birds with one stone, and yes, she's going to be nominee. Clinton will be nominee. Okay, when either Clinton say they're thinking of something, but they haven't made up their mind, that means they've made up their mind, and they're definitely going to do what they're waffling about. When Hillary Clinton, Madam Secretary, says, gosh, many people have told me to run, when Bill Clinton accidentally says, well, I'm the only person not running for anything here, he said that. Because somebody asked him a question about the Nationals during the World Series, and he's like, can I be honest and frank? I'm the only person not running for anything. Oopsie. I mean, she may or my wife may or may not run. I don't know. Are there any interns around? Can I just ask you a question? I mean, he totally spilled the beans. Anyway, the day you heard that ridiculous cable station from Chappaqua say for the first time ever, Clinton's not running. The day after, Maggie Haberman of the New York Times stated that, oh yeah, Clinton's going to, she hasn't closed the door. She still hasn't closed the door. She's going to be nominee. Whether she runs in Iowa or not, or New Hampshire, who knows? Who cares? Who cares? Trump is going to outraise all of them. And Bernie Sanders does not have the crossover appeal he had in 2016 when I was saying he was going to win. Plus, he pushed the Russia myth that actually implicated him and Jill Stein. So, I mean, that's what you're looking at with Bernie Sanders. He literally pushed the narrative that Russia was trying to prop him and Jill Stein up along with Trump. How are you going to fight the 1% with that? Bernie Sanders has a very strong and faithful base of support. To the left of him in the Democratic Party, they have contempt for him. To the right of him in the Democratic Party, they have contempt for him. Conservatives that used to like Bernie in 2016 now like Tulsi Gabbard. I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. Why do you think the Daily Beast and Raw Story and all these other places wrote hit pieces on me? Why do you think that people on Reddit and just, people didn't like me? Journalists at The Nation tried to disparage me. Why? Because I was making a clear delineation, I made a T-chart. Okay, one person's a criminal, one person's Bernie Sanders. Who do you think's going to defeat Trump? Obviously Bernie, because the criminal can't. And what happened? Clinton lost. Okay, I stated that. She had servers with top secret intel. And that's it. If Trump had a server with one classified document, it would be the end of the world, don't you know? If he said I deleted yoga emails, 30,000 of them, do you think they would believe Trump? Anyway, the point is, Clinton is going to be nominee. The fact that these articles of impeachment, the fact that McConnell can go ahead and acquit and exonerate Trump, complete acquittal without even receiving the articles of impeachment, is absolutely hilarious. And this is just an attempt to pave the way for the power structure of a political machine. The power structure is both Bill and Hillary. This is not like some kind of bizarre thing. It just is what it is. Biden is there as a part of the charade and the farce. Biden literally told what did he tell coal miners to learn to code, so learn to program. I mean, Biden. Okay, so Joe Biden says coal miners should learn to program. What? That's really going to be good in Pennsylvania. My God. Joe Biden tells coal miners they need to learn to program. Look. Everything he does is meant to sabotage his campaign while at the same time pretending or giving the pretense or giving the illusion that he actually wants to win and run, while at the same time acting in his very bizarre way of sabotaging his campaign. Now, with Trump, media, what they would do is they'd be like, oh my God, what is Trump doing today? That's fake outrage, false, outrage, fabricated. Oh my goodness, they're so stunned and surprised and shocked, and they're in dismay about Trump. But that's Trump's personality in 2016 was hilarious. For the most, certain things, perhaps he went overboard. Certain comments were crude. Other than that, though, the personality was a sharp contrast. And his personality today, I love it. Generally, I love it. Sometimes things here and there I would tweak, but I love personality. Is hilarious. Trump is actually funnier than most comics today. The average comic today, it doesn't, I have to look at like Eddie Murphy or Robin Williams or Don Rickles or Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock. I have to look at comedians that are a little bit older than this generation. This generation of comedians, there's only one or two. Okay, I would say a link between the Richard Pryor. I love Richard Pryor, obviously the best comedian of all time, if not one of the best. I think the standard. He's like the Muhammad Ali of comedy. But I love Cat Williams. Sebastian Maniscalco is a great comedian. But like the comedians nowadays, you don't really laugh at. I'm telling you, I see like 1 million views on YouTube, and I click. I'm like, okay, I want to hear this. I'm not laughing. There's nothing funny for me. Maybe it's like a Gen X thing, and I don't really care about it, or a millennial thing, or whatever. But anyway, what am I saying? Biden, his quirkiness is not like there's no charisma in Biden's like absurd behavior. With Trump, there's a lot of charisma there. There's some swag. He's hilarious for millions upon millions of people. The other half of the country that's like, oh my God, they're okay with President Obama drinking Flint water, which is worse than anything Trump has ever done. The water was still poisonous, and he was like, I need a drink. And it's like, everyone else is drinking poisonous water. You're not. And then ask the people of Libya if they love President Obama. Anyway, or his personality. The point is, Biden is sabotaging his own campaign daily. The impeachment is not working for Biden or anyone else. The impeachment serves one person's interest. That's Madam Secretary. One person. And actually, Trump has spun it to where it helps him. Okay. They'll lose again with Clinton, but they'll do so. And Mitch McConnell is just, he's actually the two best friends of Trump. Well, three: William Barr, John Durham, and Mitch McConnell. I don't put Lindsey Graham up there. Let me see if I can do a Lindsey Graham. I hope you don't get power. What does he say? What did he say during Kavanaugh? It was good, but what he does is he grandstands a lot, but he doesn't really. Paul Sperry has talked a lot about Lindsey Graham. Like, he talks a lot. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to have a new investigation one of these days on all the corruption. Okay, but I have to milk the public relations spin on Fox. I can't do it. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second. There's a lot to talk about. I have a great segment on H.A. Goodman's other channel. Check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is hilarious. Mitch McConnell is about to start, or he can start, the Senate trial without articles of impeachment. Does it get any better than this? Give me your